Everybody hears, right? If you are blessed with ears that actually work, if you are not pronounced legally or physically deaf, you hear. You hear sounds, you hear people talking, you hear conversations. There's a difference between hearing and listening. When a person listens, they listen not to respond, but the listening means that I am engaging with you. I am paying attention to you. I am actively participating in the conversation. Even if I'm learning and gaining, I'm going, yes. I'm showing you with my nonverbal, I'm showing you with my verbal, and that I am actually understanding what is being communicated. Because at that point, communication is really happening. A lot of people talk. Everybody talks. That's not the same thing as communication. Communication only happens when a person says something and the person to whom they are speaking understands it fully, engages, and then responds. Notice the order: understands, engages, and then responds. But when a person or people are in the heat of it and they are actually talking, or, yeah, talking and hearing only to respond, you're not having communication. And that's when you find arguments because nobody is stopping to ask questions. One of the things that I talk to and I say all the time, anytime somebody brings something to me and they begin to complain, or they talk about, or they wonder about a person's intention, the first thing I say is, did you ask them? And 99.9% of the time, the people go, no, I didn't. So you walked away from a conversation that is bothering you. You walked away from somebody that you're talking to. You got off the phone with somebody, or with somebody you love, or with a sibling. I cannot talk. With a sibling, or a friend, or a significant other, and you didn't ask questions. The conversation left you feeling a certain way. You're now thinking you're going to make some decisions. You're going to do something different. You're willing to take all of that. You're depressed. You're angry. You're mad. You're frustrated. You're hurt. And you're willing to have all of those emotions without having a conversation, without asking why. You've made decisions. You've sat and thought about it, and you're ticked off, and you're saying, I'm not going to let it bother me, but yet your mood is solemn. And you've done all of that, and not one time did you ask why or make sure that you had a full understanding. Make it make sense. But that's the lost art of conversation. That's the lost art of real communication. Because in order for you to know how you should feel, or even to know if your feeling is justified, in order for you to decide, you know what, I'm not going to engage with this person anymore, or I can't believe they said that, or can you believe they said, and you're going to react based on how you feel. Now, a lot of people don't think that. They always say, no, I don't work off my emotions, but that's not true. Whatever you feel determines how you think, and how you think about it determines what you do. So it is a connect the dot situation that you feel, think, do. Feel, think, do. So if somebody makes you feel good, you're going to think they care about me, they like me, so I'm going to continue to engage with them. If someone makes you feel bad, you're either going to say, okay, wait a minute, did I do something? And it, depending on how you feel about that person, because sometimes people that act like we're not important, you'll see people chase them and want to be important to them. Or you'll see the opposite and they run. But either way, no matter what you do, anytime you're in a conversation, you owe it to yourself to say why. What do you mean? And to get a full understanding. I say it all the time, say it with me. Understanding is everything. Too many decisions are made without understanding. People go into a business and they don't even understand the business they go into. They walk off a job not understanding the complications or the repercussions or the consequences that go with that, because somebody said you needed to have faith and you know what you can do, but you didn't think about how you should do it. You didn't think about the timing. You didn't think about how long it would take to get it off the ground. You forgot that the reason you could do some of the things you've done before and you could support it as a side hustle or invest in it, from a standpoint, was based on the job that you're walking off from. People don't tell you that. Or you think you walk off and I've had people walk off and say, well, I thought I was going to get unemployment. Well, hello. Did you not even ask and figure out how that worked? Because you don't get unemployment when you walk off a job. You have to be fired. And then if you're fired with cause or for violating the policy, you still don't get it. So still, it goes back to not understanding, not asking enough questions. I have watched people decide to end businesses because they did not know or couldn't figure out whether or not they should get a loan or not, when all they had to do was ask questions. I have watched people walk away from all kind of things when all they really had to do was to ask questions, to say why. What do you mean? And that's the other thing. When do we start being intimidated and feel like we need to know everything? I don't care who it is and where it is. I will always change my approach, but I am not afraid to ask anybody a question. If I don't understand something, that's okay, because I'm going to be in rooms. I've given myself permission to be in rooms where I'm not the smartest person. In fact, that's how I grow. There are some rooms where I'm the smartest in a certain area, good, and in the next area, not so much. You put me in an area we talking about bookkeeping and we're talking about taxes, and I'm gonna be in that top tier. Then when they start talking about technology, you'll watch me get quiet and listen, because that's not my field. And baby, the only thing I want my technology to do, I want that software to work when I push the button and don't give me any foolishness. Anything else, I'm frustrated, intimidated, and I got to talk myself through it and go, okay, now wait a minute. Now what? Now I got to do what? Because technology frustrates me. I don't catch it fast. I have to study it. I got to think about it. But you can wake me up out of my sleep at 2 a.m. to talk to you about setting up your business, about thriving in your business, and about making sure you do your taxes and how your business needs to be set up. That's something you'll get from me right away. All I'm saying is that when it comes to listening and when it comes to communication, do not be a person that just walks away and pretends to be okay. You gain nothing. That pretend to understand, you gain nothing. Ask questions, be sure, be certain before you make decisions. And then when you're talking to somebody, actively listen so that you know exactly what you're agreeing to sometimes, what you're co signing on, what you're not co signing. And you never know. You may gain something, you may learn something, or you may be able to disagree with something. And disagreements are not all bad. That's the time to impact somebody's thinking. And even if they don't side with you, you planted a seed. Communication is a lost art. Don't you be part of the people that are losing the art. It's been your girl, Candid with Kim. The way you think, the way you talk is all directed by how you feel. Make sure you understand how you feel. Make sure you're clear, and make sure you understand the information you're getting, and make sure you engage with your partner. It's important. It kind of goes back to voice, but remember, I tell you all the time, it's all connected. And see how we talked about business, money, relationship, and all of that, and it all centered around your voice, how you perceive things, how you use your voice, and how you don't use it, and how you say and ask the right questions. It's all connected.